Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be sharing a few different ways and places where you can find photos to post on your website, use on your website, and also on your social media like Instagram as well. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of content and you want to see more from me. Don't forget to subscribe as well. So one of the most obvious ways that you can find imagery to use on both on your website and on your Instagram is to take the photos yourself. Now, most of us have got one of these. We don't even really need full big DSLR cameras these days with the great quality cameras that most smartphones come with nowadays. Chances are your phone is going to have quite a good camera on it, and you could play around with taking photos yourself. You can use different editing apps, which means you don't even have to load the images onto your computer to edit them if you don't want to. You can edit them straight from within your phone and upload them to Instagram like that. Or if you prefer to work on your desktop and you want to add those images to your website, you can obviously transfer them across to your computer and edit them on there. But I would always suggest that if you are going to take photos yourself on your phone or on a camera, you do need to edit them really. It's very obvious when photos have come straight out of the camera or straight off your phone and they have had no kind of brightness or contrast editing, there's no kind of color touch-ups there, and you don't need to be a professional photographer to do those simple things. The apps on your phone can make that really simple. I would recommend taking a look at the VSCO app on, I think you can get it on iPhones and any other smartphones. And there's also another app called Snapseed. And both of these allow you to do kind of simple touch-ups in terms of the lighting, the color, kind of the tones in the image, which are all really important for making sure it's got that really polished feel and it's not just coming straight out of your phone or out of your camera. If you are doing it on your desktop, you can obviously have a look at downloading Adobe Photoshop, but there are free editing tools that you can get online as well from your computer. So a few key tips if you are going to be taking photos yourself. As I said, definitely do edit them after you've taken them, but also make sure that you are always taking them in natural light. You're not using flash, which can look very harsh, and you're considering kind of the time of days when you are actually going out and taking photos as well, especially if you're outside. You might think that if it's really sunny and bright outside and it's the middle of the day, that's a really good time to take photos. But actually, again, the light can be quite harsh at that time of day and create weird shadows, especially if you're photographing people or objects. So actually, the best time of day to go out and take photos is usually early in the morning or late in the evening, just before sunset. And also sometimes days when there's a little bit of cloud cover or fog outside, or some kind of mist, that can help create a softer light as well. So just a few tips in terms of lighting, because that can really make a difference as well. If you want to get more tips, I would definitely suggest checking out my friend Olivia's ebook. I think it's like $6.99 and she talks through basically how to take great Instagram photos yourself, either on your phone or a camera. She talks through kind of the basic principles there, and that can be a really good kind of budget way of creating images for Instagram and even for your website. Now, in terms of your website on like your big kind of background banners and stuff like that, I would make sure that you are definitely using the highest quality images possible for those big kind of banner images. If you want to invest anywhere in terms of your images, you want to invest in those. And then if you don't have the budget to do a whole kind of content library of professional photos or paid for photos, then just focus on those and to kind of take the smaller images yourself to kind of pepper around your website. But certainly for Instagram content, taking your own photos yourself can save you a lot of money. The next option is obviously to hire a professional to go and take imagery for you, either specifically for your website, whether that's headshots, product photos, something more specific, or lifestyle photography, which can be used either on your website or for your social media content. Doing this can be a really good way of building up a bank of really high quality images that you can share wherever you like. And the benefit of hiring a professional is that they'll have your ideal customer in mind. They will know the best way to show off your products or services in the best light that appeals to them. And your images will be unique, high quality, and completely original as well. What a lot of people also find is that when they have professional photography done and they have like a bank of professional images that they can use on their website or their Instagram, it puts you into a better kind of business mindset and makes you take yourself really seriously. And it just makes your business and your mentality seem a bit more real, and you hold yourself in a different way when you know that you've got these professional images. So it can be a really good way to up-level your mindset as well. But obviously not all of us can afford a professional photographer, especially to create Instagram content consistently and regularly. Like, you need to create content all the time. So that's when sometimes having a mixture of professional photography and photography that you've done yourself can help, as long as they're not totally contrasted in styles and it does all look cohesive on your Instagram page and on your website. Then that can work really well to save you a bit of money. You could also look at stock photography. It's more kind of what I'd suggest for your website rather than an Instagram page, but people do this as well, just to kind of help mix up their images and create a bit of an aesthetic theme, if you like. So there are two kind of options with stock photography. You can either get free stock photography. So something you need to be careful with using other people's images that haven't been taken by you or haven't been taken by someone that you've paid for is the whole kind of copyright and licensing topic around them. So on free stock photography sites, you might see the phrase CC0 pasted around a lot. It means Creative Commons 0, which technically means that you should be allowed to use it however you wish. So any images that are tagged with CC0, you should be allowed to use for your personal use and for commercial use. And you can also edit them as well to fit with your own style, add filters, do whatever you want to them. It also means that no credit is required either. And this is great. It's a great way of getting free content for your Instagram page, for your website. However, you do have to be really careful, because a lot of the websites that claim that all their images are CC0 are actually submission websites. So basically anyone can sign up and submit images that they are kind of relinquishing their copyright over. But anyone can sign up and post any image, so that those people could have stolen those images from someone else. They may not actually have all the rights to relinquish the copyright on those. And actually the person who's responsible for that, if you do end up using one of those images that actually does have a copyright associated with it, is the publisher of that photo is the person who's responsible. So if you post that on your website or your Instagram and you get found out that actually this image isn't copyright free, you're the one who'll get in trouble and potentially have to pay a fine or some kind of legal fees to go through that process. So you want to be really careful with those free stock photography websites like Unsplash, like StockSnap. Anywhere that basically anyone can submit images to can be a little bit risky. Generally as well, any kind of images that have got people's actual face in is very, very risky, because people actually need to sign a model release in order to allow this copyright to be relinquished. And a lot of the time that hasn't happened for these kind of free stock photos with people's faces in. So be really cautious about using particularly images with people's faces in. But if you do want to use stock photography and you want to make sure that the licenses are all okay and you are absolutely free to use them however you wish without getting into trouble, I definitely recommend looking at a premium stock photography website instead. There's Shutterstock, which I use quite a bit for my website design clients. There's iStock. They vary in pricing, but basically how they work is you go onto these websites, you buy credits, like a credit pack. So for example, I think it works out at around £6 per image if you buy a pack of 5 image credits on Shutterstock, for example. So I'd pay £25 for a pack of 5 image credits. I can then go onto Shutterstock, search for basically anything and download up to 5 images because I've prepaid for them, if you see what I mean. And the other main benefit of using a premium stock photography site is they have got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of very specific and niche topics around their photography as well. So if you type in something on Unsplash or on StockSnap or Pixabay or wherever, the free stock photography websites, chances are you're going to come up with a few things that might be relevant and then a lot of things that aren't relevant and they're not quite a good fit because they are free. They have been kind of donated, if you like, to be used for free. So they're just not going to be that specific. Whereas on Shutterstock, you could search for basically anything and you will get a good amount of images of really high quality in very, very specific, strange niches available for you to download. So that can be a really good option. So obviously this can be a great choice for websites, but you could also use this on Instagram as well if you wanted to kind of mix up your content. I wouldn't suggest using all stock photography on your Instagram feeds, but definitely if you're struggling to get the right color theme, or you're struggling to constantly keep up with a large amount of content and you just want to mix things up, pepper it in with photos that you've taken or other images as well, and that can really help to just give you more content. Or if you don't want to use photography at all on your Instagram, or you want to mix it up with photography and graphics, the best way to create simple, easy to use graphics for Instagram is to use Canva, which is a free software. It's a free online tool that I talk about all the time. You can sign up for a free account and basically just create graphics either using their templates and editing the templates that they have for you there, or you can start from scratch and add things like text. You can search for their own kind of illustrations and icons that appear on there. You can drop your own photos and illustrations and brand elements into those templates there and create basically any graphic you want and upload that to Instagram, or use that on your website instead if you want to mix things up with photography, or you just don't want to use photography as your kind of aesthetic either. So those are some ways that you can find imagery and content to use on your website and on your Instagram. If you do want to learn more about Instagram and how to use it for your business, I have a completely free course for you that takes you all the way from setting up your account, creating content, writing captions, using hashtags. We talk about engagement, the algorithm, all sorts of stuff. It is 9 lessons that have video tutorials and kind of strategy tips in them, and it's completely free to sign up. So I will leave the link below for that. And yeah, thanks so much for watching this video.